and welcome. Tonight, residents of Osun State go to the poll to elect chairmen and councillors for the local government council as PDP wins all 30 LGAs. All Progressive Congress in Kebbi State reaffirmed support for President Bola Tinubu and Governor Nasir Idris. President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria is ready for business as the federal government will prioritize growing its digital economy. And 6 hostages freed by Hamas reunite with their families.
And on business news, Nigeria's stock market maintains bullish sentiment in the week of the first rate-setting meeting of 2025.
On sports news tonight, Arsenal's Premier League title bid suffers a huge blow as West Ham United earned a stunning victory over the 10-man Gunners in a London derby at the Emirates.
Begin with politics. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has won all the chairmanship and councillorship seats in Osun State. And that's according to an announcement by the chairman of the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission, Mr. Hashim Abioye. He appreciated residents for coming out in mass to be part of the process. A correspondent went round some of the local government areas to see how the exercise was conducted and reports that the voting process began early, before 8 a.m. at several polling units.
After so much back and forth concerning the local government election in Osun State, the D-Day is here, and voters in various polling units are out to exercise their franchise. In Ede, the state governor, Ademola Adeleke, cast his vote at his polling unit a few minutes before 8 a.m., and he describes the exercise as very peaceful.
The process has been very peaceful. I made a broadcast to my good people of Osun State that this election should be peaceful, there should be no violence, because Osun State is a very peaceful, state. We should not give them or any chance to say that there's violence here, there's violence. I don't want that, because we are peaceful people.
The House of Reps member representing Ede North, Ede South, Egbedore, Ejigbo constituency, Honorable Bamdele Salam, expresses confidence in the electoral process.
The turnout has been very, very impressive. In all the polling units, people came out massively to vote. And in this particular polling unit especially, there has been very massive turnout. And the conduct of the electorate has also been very commendable. Very, very peaceful. You can see from the environment. No shoving, no pushing, no fighting, no shouting, nothing.
In Osogbo, the secretary to the Osun State government, Teslim Igbalaye, on his part, commends the electorate for turning out massively to cast their votes.
We thank our people for coming out and for believing in the Osun State government and the whole sake that the election should go on, despite all the intimidation from police and the federal might. But we thank God people believe in us. What you told them, what we have been saying to them, that they should come out and vote. It's a civic right. And everything is going on smoothly without any rancor.
The chairman of Osun Central Senatorial District, as well as the Osun State House of Assembly member representing Irekwadun Orolu constituency, Honorable Adekunle Oladimeji, also shared their thoughts on the election.
People turn out en masse to cast their vote under a conducive atmosphere. As you can see, there's no any rancor. Then people were eager to cast their vote. That was how it was early.
It was a very peaceful atmosphere, we must say, and the election went very smooth. It was a very, we can say, a very credible election, no intimidation here, and then people went about exercising their right.
The people are not left out, as some of them say they are delighted to be a part of the electoral process.
It went very, very peacefully. There was no fight. Everybody came out to conduct their civic responsibilities as directed by the Osun State government, and thank God it went very, very well, peacefully.
So were you afraid before this election?
No. I was never in confusion of what was going to happen today because we've been assured by the state government that we should all come out and exercise our civic rights.
We had a peaceful election here. The whole place is lovely and calm, and it's very, very accommodating.
At some point, the office of the State Independent Electoral Commission, (SIEC), was sealed. Meanwhile, the major opposition party in the state, the APC, boycotted the election.
Still on the Osun LG poll, let's listen to the chairman of the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission, Mr. Hashim Abioye, who announced the results of the election at the Collation Center in Osogbo.
For the 30 local government areas of Osun State, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party cleared all the seats. To this effect, by the power conferred on me as the Chief Returning Officer of Osun State Independent Electoral Commission, I hereby declare the following persons as duly elected chairmen of their respective local government areas. Number 1, Irewole Local Government, Joda Ambali Babajide. 2, Egbedore Local Government, Okunade Oluwafemi Adesanya. We appreciate the people of Osun State for trooping out en masse to participate in the election. My appreciation goes to members of the Independent Interparty Advisory Council, IPAC, members of the Forum of State Independent Electoral Commission of Nigeria, FOSICON, civil society groups, independent observers, and the media community. Let me apologize once again. I will use this medium to apologize once again to the media community for our inability to provide accreditation materials for our media figures. It was simply because the police had sealed off our head office where the materials are kept. And up to now, the police have refused to give us access. At any rate, I want to say congratulations to the people of Osun State. Congratulations to the winners.
More politics in Kebbi State, where the All Progressives Congress APC has reaffirmed its support for Governor Nasir Idris and President Bola Tinubu in their efforts to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people. The endorsement took place during a mega rally organized by the We Stand with Kara movement, which is a coalition of supporters of the state governor. The rally is to drum support for the party ahead of the 2027 elections and appreciate the governor for his people-oriented projects across the state.
Supporters of the All Progressives Congress from the 21 local government areas of Kebbi State gathered to show solidarity with Governor Nasir Idris and commend his administration's achievements. A federal lawmaker and close associate of President Tinubu, Honorable James Faleke, is among the dignitaries attending the rally. He addresses the supporters, urging them to remain committed to the party. Governor Idris, who commended the organizers of the rally, attributes his successes to the support he gets from the federal government, as he emphasizes the need to support President Tinubu in 2027.
Our principle is to ensure that Nigeria continue to become one. And Mr. President doesn't have showing any difference. All the governors, irrespective of party affiliates, Mr. President, treat us as one. So therefore, I want to seize this opportunity to tell Mr. President that Kebbi is for him. Kebbi is for Kara. I will stand on Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kara.
Supporters of the All Progressives Congress commend the leadership of Governor Idris and President Bola Tinubu.
And the main purpose of this gathering today is a thank you rally. Like you are aware, I believe you are in Kebbi State and you are living in Kebbi State. And I'm sure you have witnessed many good things that happened in less than 1.5 year administration of this government. For so many years, we've been having this perennial continuous problem of roads. Kaura promised me personally during campaign that one thing he's sure to do is to construct the Sokoto road for us. And if that is the only thing he will do as governor, inshallah, he will achieve it. And if that is the only thing he's going to take a loan for, loan money to construct, he will do it. Guess what? He's constructed it without a loan so far.
The rally is considered a major step towards mobilizing support for the president and the governor ahead of the 2027 general elections.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, is also drumming up support ahead of the 2027 elections at its Northeast Zonal Congress in Bauchi State. The acting national chairman of the party, Mr. Umar Damagum, assured party members that the PDP is under credible leadership across the country and its leaders will guide the party to victory in the next general elections. He also emphasized that the country will only be better when the party returns to power. Our correspondent Hajara Aliyu has this report.
Members of the People's Democratic Party from the 6 states of the Northeast region assembled in Bauchi for the Zonal Congress. The event saw the presence of the acting national chairman, the 3 PDP governors from the region, former governors, and other key stakeholders in attendance.
Here in Bauchi, he attended the meeting.
Before the commencement of the electoral process, the outgoing zonal chairman advises the leadership on the pivotal role the zonal offices play for the success of the party.
In 2023, the zonal office, the zonal leadership was relegated to the background. We were not active, we were not participating actively. My call is that the zonal office is important, and for all political expediencies, they should be used.
A total of 22 elective positions were contested unopposed. Following the conclusion of the process, Babangida Umar from Adamawa State emerged as the new zonal chairman alongside other officials.
2027 is not far off. It is therefore necessary to start serious consultations and meetings to synergize and strategize toward the next general elections. Past mistakes should remain in the past and should not be repeated.
The acting national chairman of the party commended the conduct of the exercise and urges Nigerians to vote for the PDP in 2027.
The PDP is the only democratic party. You can see internal democracy at work. We come here, we selected and elected our officers rank-free, and to say it all, they will continue with other zones, and by the time we have our national convention, you know that we are ready to take over this country.
This zonal congress is a precursor to the upcoming national convention, and the newly elected leadership are expected to play critical roles in determining the success of the party. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, federal government approves the relocation of 29 of its 256 custodial centers. That's in a moment. Join us again. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Residents of Osun State go to the polls to elect chairmen and councillors for the local government councils as PDP wins all 30 LGAs. All Progressives Congress in Kebbi State reaffirmed support for President Tinubu and Governor Nasir Idris. President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria is ready for business as the federal government will prioritize growing the nation's digital economy. Nigeria is ready for business, and its priority is to develop the digital economy, intellectual and professional capability of many citizens. This was emphasized by the president when he received the Floating Wave Leadership, a financial technology company led by the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Benga Abola, at the State House in the nation's capital, Abuja. The president commended the company for its contributions towards developing the economy.
Nigeria is truly open for business, and we are determined to remove all obstacles on our way. First of the priority is what you are doing in digital economy, training and retraining of others, developing intellectual capacity and professional capacity of many Nigerians. We need it. Nobody needs to preach about our young population and the excitement they have, ready to learn. Yes, with the narrative out there, we have some certain percentage of bad eggs. We can't live with that, because you are representing the goodness of the continent. Leadership that you are providing in the digital world is what Nigeria needs today to grow its economy, to identify its population, to make life easy for thousands and millions of people. And if they ride well on your platform and you create all those branches and little yokes, you definitely make a great Nigeria possible.
As part of efforts to secure the nation's custodial centers and improve the welfare of inmates, the federal government has approved the relocation of 29 out of its 256 custodial centers. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, disclosed this during the commissioning of 39 Green Maria for movement of inmates and 5 bullet-resistant guard boots at the headquarters of the Nigeria Correctional Service in Abuja. He also announced the federal government's plan to cancel its visa-on-arrival policy.
The security of the nation's custodial centers and the welfare of inmates take center stage as officials of the Nigeria Correctional Service converge for the commissioning ceremony of operational vehicles. The acquisition of the vehicles directly responds to the evolving challenges faced by the Correctional Service, particularly in ensuring the timely production of inmates in courts.
Today we are commissioning a total of 39 operational vehicles specifically procured for the safe and efficient transportation of inmates to and from courts. These vehicles will be distributed strategically across our commands based on identified operational needs and pressing demands.
The meeting also notes the location of some custodial facilities in residential areas, some government offices and public places. The minister announces the relocation of such facilities.
A correctional center is not a place of incarceration. A correctional center is a place for rehabilitation, restoration, reformation, transformation, and of course, a place for correction. That's what a correction is.
At a separate event, the Comptroller General, Nigeria Immigration Service, highlights discussions held with the United Nations Organization on Counter-Terrorism in Bangkok, Thailand, last year on the management of international passengers.
The theme of this capacity building program, API, PNR, data analytics, and key procedures, was carefully selected based on the operational gaps we experienced at the Command and Control Center since its commissioning by His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on the 10th of December 2024.
Determined to checkmate terrorists, the Minister of Interior announces the federal government's plan to cancel its visa on arrival policy.
We believe that it's better for us to take decisions based on objectivity rather than subjectivity. And of course, that will lead to the cancellation of the visa on arrival process. Because the visa on arrival, we understand it's not a system that works. Because I don't expect you to just come to my country without me knowing that you're coming into my country. No, it's never done anywhere.
The meeting on advanced passenger information and passenger name record data in national security and law enforcement held at the headquarters of the Nigeria Immigration Service is one of the measures being adopted to document everyone visiting the country.
Nigeria's inflation rate dropped to 24.48% in January this year, down from 34.8% in December, following a rebasing by the National Bureau of Statistics. The NBS says the update reflects changes in spending patterns of people living in the country. In this next report, our business correspondent Willie Bong visits the Mile 12 market in Lagos to see if Nigerians are feeling the impact of these falling prices.
Inflation rate in Nigeria has been on the uptrend, and this became especially worse in 2023 when fuel subsidy was removed and the naira was floated. CBN survey shows that Nigerians spend more than half of their income on food items alone, and this is an economic pressure on them. And recent data, we look at the data in December 2024, inflation stood at 34.8%. But recent data following the rebasing of the CPI basket by the National Bureau of Statistics show that inflation for January 2025 currently stands at 24.48%. That's nearly a 10% drop. But we are the popular Mile 12 market, and we want to see how this 10% drop reflects in the pockets of Nigerians.
The numbers tell a new story. Inflation is going down. The reason? A rebased inflation model. To calculate inflation, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has changed its approach, updating the base year from 2009 to 2024, adding new goods and services and removing outdated ones to reflect current spending. But have these changes made life easier for Nigerians? Here at the Mile 12 market, do these numbers translate to lower prices?
When those things are announced, they rarely reflect in the pot immediately. They rarely do. But in all honesty, there has been a reduction. Some reduction I've noticed.
So how much did you sell a pint of beans in December 2024?
December 2024, we selling beans
8,000 naira. Okay, so in January 2025, how much did you now sell this pint of beans?
January we sell it 6,000 naira.
6,000 naira. That's how much you sold it in January. So how much difference? That's about 2,000 naira.
Our market survey tells a mixed story. Some essential food prices have dropped, while others remain high. The market chairman elaborates on the changes.
Whatever statistics are doing in theory, what people cannot see. But you are here in the market today, and you have seen, and I've told you the fact, as the chairman of the market, I'm telling you the price that it has dropped drastically, and that's the true story.
I spent more because for adventure, maybe you brought in December. I could remember December I brought 150,000 to the market. Then I spent, I was still left with some change. But January, I came to the market with the same 150K, and I did not left with anything. But it was almost the same thing I bought.
So, is the lower inflation real or just statistical? Economists weigh in on what these numbers really mean.
I think to a large extent, any change of methodology will lead to a different outcome. And the outcome in this case is partly, I would say, partly methodology driven and partly factually driven. In other words, the answer is it's to some extent it's illusionary, if I may use that word, but to a large extent, there's a trend that shows that the illusion itself is based on some form of reality. The magnitude of the change itself is what is called into question.
For people who
are economists and who are researchers, they will understand what we are trying to do. Why? We may never be able to reverse inflation trend if we continue with the old narrative. We may never be able to. But that does not mean that if you go to the market tomorrow, price of food has improved. That would be a lie. That will not be correct.
Inflation may be down, but what are expectations of Nigerians from the government?
There's a mental adjustment required on the part of, one, the policymakers and the politicians to know that they owe and serve the people, and to the followership who know that their destiny is in their own hands in terms of their own productivity. So those are the things that play back into inflation and the cost of living of people.
The reality Nigerians are praying for is that prices drop not just in food commodities, but in the areas of rent, transportation, and energy. Will Ibong, signing out for Channels Television News.
To infrastructure now, the contractor handling the construction of the Ikorodu Road in Lagos has been ordered to return to site by the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi. During an inspection tour of some federal road projects in the state, the minister expressed displeasure with the way the contractors have handled the project, which has necessitated some reviews. Our correspondent Chris Lems has this report.
This road inspection exercise by the Minister of Works, David Umahi, takes the team to the Badagry area of Lagos State. He is received by the contractors on site and gets an update on the state of work at the 56-kilometer stretch of the Lagos-Badagry to the semi-border corridor, which is part of the 90-kilometer ECOWAS road within the Nigerian border.
What we met on ground was, 2 lanes in each carriageway. It's been expanded to 6 lanes each carriageway. We can see that the contractor has done over 80% of the work. The project is being reviewed, and we've reviewed Section 1 alone to 71 billion. And if you add 71 and the Section 2 on current prices, the total cost will be 145 billion. But within the availability of funds, we are doing Section 1 first.
Next port of call is the 78-kilometer stretch of the Lagos-Abeokuta road, of which 60 kilometers is already being constructed by the Ogun State government.
What we intend to do is to award these 18 kilometers on reinforced concrete pavement, and then wait for Ogun State government to finish their own. Then we take boat over and then do it, operate and maintain.
Finally, it's a visit to the 34-kilometer Ikorodu-Itoikin road, where he says funding has hampered the progress of work for a while. He, however, gives a marching order to the contractors to return to sites.
What the contractor is doing is not acceptable, and we are giving it as a directive all over the nation. From henceforth, no controller is allowed to permit contractors to remove, any existing asphalt. All we need to do is to improve on the asphalt, on the pavement level.
For some of the projects, the minister expects that completion date will be honored before May to enable commissioning by Mr. President. For now, inspection tour continues to other parts of Lagos, including the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. Chris Lems, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's stock market maintains bullish sentiments in the week of the first rate-setting meeting of 2025. That's on Business News. Please stay with us. Welcome back. All hands must be on deck in efforts to eradicate polio from northern Nigeria. Governor Inuwa Yahaya, who is the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, stated this when he met with the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, and a delegation from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. According to the governor, the team is in Gombe State to understudy the progress made so far by the government in healthcare development.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pati, leads some development partners to this meeting with Governor Inwa Yahaya of Gombe State. The team is in the state to study the Gombe State healthcare sector. In 2024, the state bagged the best performing state in primary healthcare from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Governor Yahaya welcomes the team and reveals some of the ideas responsible for the improved service in healthcare in the state.
Now hit the ground running. So immediately I was sworn in.
Shortly after the official reception and a closed-door meeting with the visiting team, Governor Yahaya underscores the immediate need to eradicate poliomyelitis in the north.
Well, this meeting really means a lot because the major partners that played the role of exiting Nigeria from polio are here. You can see the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, plus the Honorable Minister himself here, and they are the key drivers.
The delegation lauds the state government's efforts as the minister reacts to the funding cuts by the U.S. government.
We appreciate all the support of the United States government and people over the last 20 years. This moment where the U.S. government's policy shift has changed, we appreciate that the decision has been made, and we are continuing to look forward for strengthening our partnership with the U.S. government and other partners all across the world to ensure that we take care of our people. We are mobilizing domestic resources from our own budget, and the federal government, as you know, announced, in fact, additional resources for health, and His Excellency President will ensure that we will have the resources to maintain.
Working for many years here in Nigeria, and will continue to work in Nigeria on the critical issues of polio eradication, strengthening immunization, and strengthening primary health care. And so it's a pleasure to be here today with the Honorable Coordinating Minister to meet with the Honorable Executive Governor to talk about the progress here in Gombe.
The state government is expecting to increase collaborations with the federal government and development partners to continue to improve the state's healthcare service.
Staying with health, the Katsina State Governor, Diko Rada, has restated his commitment to sustain the achievements recorded so far in areas of immunization and primary healthcare development, and has promised to strengthen existing partnership with the Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization, Gavi. According to the governor, the support from the alliance has helped the state to strengthen its healthcare infrastructure and vaccine distribution.
For 3 years now, Katsina has enjoyed a memorandum of understanding with the Global Alliance and Immunization to strengthen healthcare infrastructure, vaccine distribution, and immunization coverage in the states. Under the implementation period, several healthcare infrastructure were either built or renovated. The UNICEF country director, represented by the chief of UNICEF, Kano Field Office, is here with his team to hand over one of such newly constructed primary healthcare centers to the government.
As UNICEF hands over the program to the Katsina State government today, UNICEF calls for a continued investment of adequate resources by the Katsina State government to sustain the notable achievement recorded during the implementation of the MOU, including improvements in critical indicators and increased capacities to service delivery, human resources, supply chain management, health information system, and governance across the state.
The UNICEF team also donated vaccine refrigeration van to the Katsina State government and commended the state government for the absorption of 478 Gavi-trained healthcare workers into the state civil service. In his remarks, the state governor assures that his administration will sustain the achievements so far recorded by the Gavi initiative.
We will continue investing in primary healthcare infrastructure and human resources as we demonstrated in the last 18 months of this administration,
strengthening the implementation of primary health care under one roof policy to ensure that integrated and effective health care delivery system in the state. Prioritize funding for immunization programs and routine health care services. Enhance collaboration with partners and stakeholders to drive innovative health care solutions. In the light of the foregoing, may I use this opportunity to call on Kebbi, UNICEF, WHO, and other partners to continue to support our state in areas of health care strengthening, maternal and child health, and disease prevention.
The Katsina State government is hoping to upscale healthcare services, especially in rural areas, as it makes intentional investments in primary healthcare infrastructure across the states.
The Financial Action Task Force, FATF, has approved Nigeria's fifth progress report on its efforts to tackle money laundering and terrorist financing at the plenary in Paris, France. This approval marks a significant step forward for the country, which has been working to strengthen its anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing regime since it was placed on the grey list in February 2023. With this approval, Nigeria is well placed to complete its action plan before the May deadline and exit the grey list before the end of this year. This development is a positive step for the country's efforts to tackle money laundering and terrorist financing and is expected to enhance its reputation and attract foreign investment into Nigeria. The Special Advisor to the Sokoto State Governor on Security Matters, Colonel Ahmed Usman, has confirmed the arrest of a suspected gun runner and arms carrier who allegedly supplies weapons to terrorists operating in the northwest, including notorious kingpin Bello Tugi. The governor's aide confirmed this to our correspondent in Sokoto State. According to him, the suspect was arrested by officers of the Sokoto State Civilian ISA Division and Civilian JTF. While a lawmaker from the Sokoto State House of Assembly, Honorable Aminu Boza, has confirmed the presence of Mr. Tugi in one of the forests in Isa local government area. The lawmaker told our correspondent that the kingpin has imposed a 25 million naira levy on villagers and has been collecting taxes from the people in the area. He appealed to security operatives and local authorities to intensify operation against bandits. To consolidate its policy of developing the agricultural sector, the Cross River State Governor, Vasiotu, has given assurances that the Shonga farms and starch-making plant will be revived. He was speaking during his visit to both sites, where he was giving first-hand information about the challenges of these initiatives, which are capable of strengthening the agricultural sector and driving industrialization in the state. According to him, this initiative aligns with the state's long-term sustainability goals, which focuses on boosting local production and enhancing Cross River's standing in Nigeria's agricultural value chain.
Songe farms, we've gone for. That's why my visit there today was to actually have a physical, what I will say, a down-to-earth knowledge of what is actually going on there. I've seen it for myself because I've already gone through the various studies and feasibilities that have been put together by different entities to partner with the government to activate that facility. So very soon, that facility will come alive. I think the bids will be open probably next week. So whoever wins the bid will take it up from there. Where we are now is actually the cassava, what I call the starch making plant. The facility here is supposed to be 3 lines, but I've noticed it's just about 1 line for starch that have been completed. The sorbitol and the other one is still, and flour is still something that we'll work on. But we also have some bidders and some people who are ready to partner with government to make sure that it comes alive. So this, I think we are going to do it. The local government on its own has these numbers which you've seen here that they're going in by way of investment. And this, I tell you, before you know it, the IGR alone from here and the proceeds, what they will get from here, will be quite enough to pay the salary and staffs of the local government.
The Nigerian Export Promotion Council, in partnership with private export consultants, have called on entrepreneurs as well as political leaders to address the export challenges in the southeast region. The stakeholders in the export business were speaking at an export business roundtable in Enugu titled Southeast Nigeria's Export Future, Trends, Opportunities and Challenges. According to the group, there is need to explore export potentials, equip entrepreneurs with market access, promote value addition, digital trade, as well as industrial competitiveness.
Gathered here are members of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, key stakeholders and international experts in export-related matters, entrepreneurs and captains of industry. They are here for the first export business roundtable in Enugu, and the theme is Southeast Nigeria's export future, trends, opportunities and challenges.
International standards.
The lead speaker at the event, John Isemede, highlights the importance of planning and putting the best foot forward for all those interested in venturing into export trade.
You have to prepare and organize for export. It's not what you jump into. You have to organize and prepare yourself. It is not by copy and paste. The other one is that, what of trade information? You get the information from NEPC, from Central Bank, from SGS inspection agents, from the Chamber of Commerce. There is nowhere in the world where you do business that you don't register with the Chamber of Commerce.
For Mr. Henry Imedro, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is a goldmine of opportunities, and he advises Southeast businessmen to understand how it works with a view to tapping into it.
There's something very important you have to list it today. The architecture of African Continental Free Trade, it is a well-structured system. When you look at it, they have protocols. There are protocols in goods, and then there is also protocol in services.
Other speakers at the event encouraged the Southeast governors and leaders to adopt the Michael Okpara strategy to develop the Southeast region.
Bible says you cannot build without first of all sitting down to do your POQ. MI drew up a master plan to build 214-kilometer agro-industrial belt across the whole eastern Nigeria. MI said to work, and in 7 years, MI surpassed that goal.
At NEPC, we are here to support and collaborate with you and build your capacity, build the capacity of the women, youth, MSMEs, and all players in the value chain. We remain committed and resolute in working with all the regions of Southeast, all the states of Southeast remain committed to make sure that we stand tall amongst all the states in the country.
Participants are also reminded of the need to embrace digital trade and industrial competitiveness.
Everybody knows that there is need for all of us to get into export of non-oil products. That is the only way out for this nation as it stands now. Already our import is also already too high. Now we need to balance our trade by doing more of exports. And part of what we're also doing in this event is to tell people that cottage industries can help. Where you're doing small in your own household, the next person is doing little in the household. The other one is farming, the value chain is together. At the end of the day, we achieve much.
At the end of this roundtable, participants are optimistic that the gathering will unlock the huge export potentials in the region.
The Taraba state government says it will not lower its guard in intelligence gathering and protection of lives and properties while ensuring that security is top-notch in every part of the state. This was made clear when it displayed livestock rustled by criminals in neighboring Nasarawa and Plateau State in its bid to curb pockets of insecurity.
These large number of cattle and sheep rustled by hoodlums were intercepted in Gasol local government area of Taraba State. Security agencies attribute the recovery of the animals to robust intelligence sharing following reports of an increasing spate of cattle rustling killing of locals, and kidnappings. The state government believes the latest success means it's moving in the right direction, assuring everyone that it will not rest until crime and criminality is wiped out of the state for peace to reign supreme.
It's a rigorous work of security intelligence that result into recovering this chaos through the singular efforts of all the security chiefs that is being led by the Defense Military Intelligence in collaboration with our hunters. And these cows were from the axis of Karilamido, Plateau, Nasarawa, but they were intercepted in Gasol local government because there was collaboration of intelligence between all those areas with our security chiefs in Taraba State. So once after due diligence, they strike and they collected all the cattle, though some have run away, arrest was made, and what have you, investigation is still ongoing.
The Association of Hunters confirmed that this is not the first recovery to happen, but it's happy about this latest success story.
The conventional security operatives intimidated us on the rustled livestock from Plateau to Taraba State, and we mobilized, not minding the time, and we are happy that we succeeded. Though some of the criminals escaped, but we are glad that majority of the livestock were recovered.
For the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, the fruitful collaboration between security agencies and stakeholders is unique, and the identification of rightful owners is a big relief. It then calls for sustainability of these efforts for peace to reign.
I'm appealing that just as it has happened, let there be sustainability. The Taraba State government has shown great commitment in ensuring that peace reigns, and we are indeed excited.
The Taraba State government says it will meet governors of neighboring states to ensure adequate collaboration and security of lives and property to avert future occurrences.
Time to find out what's happening in the world of business. Laddie Williams has all those details.
Thanks, Melinda. Well, in business news, the Nigerian exchange ended the week on a positive note as both the all-share index and the market capitalization recorded gains, reflecting continued investor confidence. The all-share index rose by 0.41% to close at 108,497 points, while the market capitalization increased by 0.29%, reaching 67 trillion naira. In the trading week, we have the first interest rate setting meeting, also getting the first whole decision after raising rates by over 800 basis points since 2023. Our trading activity was subdued again this week with volume and value of trades in the red. To the sectors we track now, consumer goods counters shined this week with an over 6% gain, fueled by gains in Dangote Sugar Refinery, Goa Foods and others. Leading charge among gainers was Abbey Mortgage Bank PLC, which climbed by 16.13% week to date, followed by Smart Products Nigeria PLC, while Union Dickens Salts PLC led the losers charts. Top trades by volume for the week were Access Holdings PLC, LLX PLC and Fidelity Bank PLC, accounting for 618 million shares traded. And similarly, at the NESD over-the-counter securities market, its performance ended the week in the green as the index went up by 1.25% week to date. The rise on the market comes on the back of gains from some high-value securities on the market, which led to its capitalization rising to 1.85 trillion naira. However, the volume of trades carried out slowed by over 80%, with value of trades down by 66%. Okitipupa Oil Palm PLC again led the top gainers, and this week up 46%, while UBN Property Company PLC led the decliners. And outside our shores, Moody's Investors Services downgraded Senegal's credit rating by 2 notches, citing concerns over the country's deteriorating fiscal health. The decision follows a report by Senegal's Court of Auditors revealing that the nation's financial position during the final term of former President Macky Sall was significantly weaker than previously reported. Moody's lowered Senegal's long-term foreign currency rating to B3, placing it 6 levels below investment grade, and assigned a negative outlook, reflecting heightened risks to the country's economic stability. The downgrade underscores growing challenges for Senegal as it grapples with fiscal pressures and the aftermath of financial mismanagement under the previous administration. And the Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry is urging local businesses with ready consignments to participate in the upcoming launch of the trade activities under the African Continental Free Trade Area. The consignments will be transported via the Walvis Bay Port and by road, marking a significant step in Namibia's integration into the continent-wide trade initiative. The AFCFTA, a flagship project of the African Union, seeks to establish a unified market for goods and services across Africa, fostering economic growth and regional cooperation. For me, on business is back to Melinda with the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Ladi. On the international scene, 6 Israeli hostages freed by Hamas have been reunited with their families, and that's according to the Israel Defense Forces. However, the families of Palestinian prisoners due to be released today in exchange for the Israeli hostages are still waiting in Khan Yunis, Gaza. According to the Palestinian Information Center, which carries official statements from the group, Hamas says Israel has been violating the terms of the ceasefire deal by delaying the release of Palestinian prisoners. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the return of the 6 hostages is a moment of joy for the people, while the country is still broken over the brutal murder of Israeli hostage Siri Bibas and her 2 sons. As part of a major shake-up of top military brass, U.S. President Donald Trump has fired the chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff. General Charles Brown, who held the highest-ranking office in the country, was the second black officer to do so. His job was to advise the President and the Secretary of Defense on national security issues. 2 other senior officers, as the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Lisa Fanchetti, who was the first woman to lead the U.S. Navy, and the Vice Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General Jim Silleff, have also been given the boot. President Trump has indicated that he will nominate Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Kane, a career pilot who recently served as CIA Associate Director for Military Affairs, as the new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Time to find out what's happening in the world of sports. Kelly Giga is here with details.
Many thanks indeed, Melinda. In the world of sports, Atalanta boss Gianpiero Gasparino says he never intended to offend Ademola Lookman by saying the Super Eagles forward is one of the worst penalty takers he has ever seen after their home Champions League defeats by Club Brugge. Gasparini brushed off the backlash against his comments while addressing a press conference earlier today, pointing out similarities to an incident in Udinese's Serie A win over Lecce yesterday, where Lorenzo Lucas scored a penalty despite not being the designated taker. The 67-year-old left the most surprising line for his last answer of the press conference after revealing that he would leave the club at the end of his contract in 2026. Atalanta are third in Serie A with 51 points from 25 matches, and they travel to relegation-threatened Empoli this Sunday. Let's turn now to the English Premier League, and Arsenal missed the chance to close the gap on league leaders Liverpool as West Ham United ended a 4-match winless run with a stunning victory at the Emirates Stadium. Other games now, Manchester United staged a late comeback as they avoided plunging deeper into crisis with a dramatic draw at Everton. Matheus Cunha gave Wolverhampton Wanderers a valuable 3 points in their fight for survival as they defeated Bournemouth. Brennan Johnson scored twice as Tottenham Hotspur continued their upturn in form with victory against Ipswich Town. Brighton scorched to an easy win at relegation-threatened Southampton. Crystal Palace stunned Fulham to register 4 straight away wins for the first time, while Aston Villa came from behind to beat Chelsea at the Villa Park. But basketball gets attention next. Nigeria's men's national team, D Tigers, have secured a vital 87-67 victory over Uganda, keeping their hopes of qualifying for this year's FIBA Afro-Basket alive. The game held at the Grand Hall in Tripoli, Libya, saw Nigeria overturn a challenging start with a remarkable fourth-quarter performance Standout performances included Caleb Agada, who led the team with 20 points, and Ike Nwamu contributing 18 points. The win ignites Nigeria's campaign in the qualifiers, positioning them for a crucial matchup against Cape Verde tomorrow. And a victory against Cape Verde is essential for the Tigers to secure their spot in the Continental Championship. And that's your Sports News tonight. I am Kelly Egiga. It's back to Melinda for the rest of the news.
Many thanks, Kelly. And the main news again. Residents of Osun State today went to the poll to elect chairmen and councillors for the local government councils of the state as the People's Democratic Party, PDP, won in all the 30 council areas. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Akinlami on behalf of the team. Good night.